Thank you for clicking on the video. Welcome back to the channel. I apologize that this power review, well, for episode 7, I apologize that this review is late, but I had to do it. I was going to just try to, throw out some bullet points there for episode 7 and get right into episode 8, but we're going to do two separate videos. So this one is for PowerBookII Ghost Season 2, Episode 7, Forced My Hand. Drew and Lorenzo, they run up on, what's his name? Golito, while he's in the middle of smashing some girl. Drew comes in there and shoots him right between the eyes, business as usual. Lorenzo tells the guy who introduced them, that he's now in charge. And he gives him his instructions, he's on board. Drew tells the girl to keep her mouth closed, I guess he feel like they gonna let her live. She ain't see nothing. She say she agree. I ain't see nothing. Pamela James ain't seen jack. And so that was that. Then Lorenzo tells the guy to go ahead and take care of her. And so he ends up killing the girl anyway. Drew is like, that wasn't a part of the plan. What was that about? Lorenzo says, listen, rule number one, no loose ends, ever. Can't risk her telling. Monet, she's at the club when Detective Moreno, y'all know Detective Moreno from New York Undercover. Her name is Evelyn on this here show. But she walks in talking about her husband, Frank. Frank is the guy that I don't even remember Frank, but Frank, I do remember Frank. Frank got out real early and everybody, he was Uncle Frank. And everybody was like, how he get out so early? Because he was a snitch. Yeah, so he had to go. Now she's left to pick up the pieces. Monet is just like, listen, that's just how it is. You already know what the consequences are of being in this life. She gives her a wad of cash and sends her on her way. Girl, I got you. Get your family back on track. Detective Moreno takes the money, but she also says that Lorenzo better be careful. Tariq, he meets up with Sax and Davis Method Man. They have a video from the prosecution. They trying to say that it's Tariq on the video, but it's clearly Kane. Tariq says he don't know who it is, but it ain't him. He says that night he had a meeting with Paula. Sax is like, okay, great. We can get her to, corroborate the story. And Davis Method Man is like, that ain't gonna be easy. Sax, of course, is like, oh, you was hidden that. I know it. I knew it. But anyway, Davis, he steps in and says that he's just going to, take it from there. They're going to take it from there so Tariq can go on about his business. Sax can't believe that Tariq won't help himself. He's just like, why won't he tell us who that is? Like, this is the person that killed Ramirez. This is the one time that Sax believes that Tariq could be innocent. And so he's just like, why won't he help himself? Like, he won't even help us help him. And of course, Davis is like, you ain't from the streets, I'm about that life, and he from the streets, so he already know what it is. He won't say anything because he can't say anything. Monet and Lorenzo, they are talking about the future. Lorenzo doesn't want out, of course, but Monet does. There's a safer way, a better way. Lorenzo, he's street through and through, so he's not trying to get out. He said he never living off another man. He just gonna get it out the mud, period. He will die trying to, keep them safe if it has to come to that. Brayden and Tariq, they are looking through the photo album. And I was saying it was a yearbook. My bad. It was a photo album. They're looking through the photo album of debauchery. And they come across a good one. That could ruin Sweeney, but it could also ruin Brayden's father. So Brayden is a little bit apprehensive. Like, let's wait on this. Let's maybe find another picture. Maybe something else. Tariq questions his loyalty because on one hand, it's like you want to be emancipated from your family. You want to be ride or die out here in these streets. And then on the other hand, you would hate for your white privilege to be taken from you. And so that's where they are with that. Come to find out that Sweeney was in blackface in the picture. Because of course, he takes the picture straight to tape. Takes the tea. I don't think he has the picture in hand because because I don't think Braden was, you know, wanted him to physically have it. But in the picture is Sweeney in blackface. He is supposedly O.J. Simpson after the O.J. trial, I guess. And Braden's father is, he's dressed up as the dead Nicole. So there's that. So that don't look good on none of them. He got dead Nicole in the headlock, bloody knife, all of that. It's just all in poor taste. It could ruin him, ruin his political career for sure. Tate says that, you know, if there's no pics, then, you know, it's like it didn't happen. And so where are the receipts? Tariq says that he can get it, but Tate needs to promise him that the Westons, you know, won't be dragged into this. And Braden's, and Tate says that, you know, I don't give a fuck about that man or what's going, like, I don't care about none of that. He tells him that he's on trial, you know, and if he is acquitted, he still needs Tate to get his sister back, you know, so you still need me, don't play with me. So get the damn picture. Tariq, he back in class. Everybody, of course, is like, oh my God, he's in class. They're shocked. Especially Carrie. She just can't believe it. She starts class, and the topic today is, should we make decisions for other people without their consent? She immediately directs this to Tariq, and it's like, oh, welcome back, Tariq. So would you like to get us started? And he says that, you know, believe it or not, people make decisions for other people without their consent all the time. You know, like parents. It's just life. Then Lauren, she chimes in and she's like, yeah, just like when a professor is exploiting their student. And then Carrie is like, excuse me, you had something to add? What did you like to add? And so then she elaborates, and of course the classmates chime in with their perspectives. We talk about the police and the elected officials, etc., etc. They all make decisions for the citizens without their consent. And then Tate jumps in and is like, the voters give elected officials consent. Carrie responds with, and then politicians make shady deals behind their backs. Light-skinned Keisha, she adds that Stansfield, let's add them to the list. And, you know, with their dorm raids and all of that. Then the white boy in the class, he jumps in and says that it's fair. The dorm raids, that is, you know, we all sign consent agreements before moving in. And if you're going to have drugs on you, then, you know, it'll probably be smart not to keep them in your room. Keisha's just like, no, they just need to stop targeting the black students just to drag them down to the station. That's what needs to happen. Tariq, he catches up to Lauren after class. Of course, she's speed walking to avoid him after how he talked to her. And he asks her about her room getting raided. You know, why didn't you tell me? And she just snaps, you know, she's like, listen, all you've done is keep secrets from me. So don't be asking me about nothing. Besides, you know, she says, if he's not involved in the drugs, then why are you concerned in the first place? And you also ended this relationship, and so I don't even know why I'm talking to you. So she just keeps on, you know, keeps it on pushing. Tariq, you know, he's just like, I just want to talk. Can you just stop and talk to me, please? You know, people hear it. Everybody's like, what's going on over there? Professor Milgram is off to the side being a creeper, watching the whole thing. She tells him, you know, that she has to go and write a speech for Jabari's little memorial. She doesn't have time. See you later. Davis meets with Paula at the bar, and before he go in there, you know, he always got to slip his wedding ring off because I guess he think he fooling somebody. But anyway, she looked good. She got a new wig, new outfit, you know, new job, you know, that sort of thing. Kind of like she on her little Tamika tip. Tamika, what was her name? Washington. When she came back, when we saw her again, she was beat too. You know, so promotions and new jobs and leaving the wrong side will, you know, have you looking good in life. Because she got a new wig too and a new piece of professional, you know, garments. He tells her about Tariq's case and that he's named her as his alibi. And she was like, I did meet with him, but I mean, it wasn't for long. So he definitely had time to go and kill that man. Now what? She said she already looked at his file. You know, he had plenty of time to get back to kill Jabari. Oh, and what about the other murder? Did he do that? And do you even care? You know, all of that. Because, you know, Davis don't care. He don't care about the truth. It's just, listen, can you pay me? Okay, you can pay me. Well, then I'll defend you. She says she's not going to, it's not going to play out well for anybody if she testifies, because the first question that they'll ask is, why was she there? And she'll have to say that she was there to show him an illegally obtained video, you know, illegally obtained video of him confessing to his father's murder. And so you don't want me to testify. She tells him, you know, that he's unethical as fuck. And she suggests that, you know, he get Tariq a deal because y'all skint right about now. When she's about to leave, Davis just asks her to stick around and have a drink. And, you know, she takes the drink and she pours it right on his shoes. Don't try her. She's no longer that girl. You can't get her like that. And put your wedding ring on, nigga. Davis, he's back in his office cleaning off his shoes when Tariq drops by wanting to talk. Davis tells him that he's going to need another alibi because Paula is not testifying. Tariq says that he was also with his sister. You know, I was with my sister and grandma also, you know, and Sax is in the room as well. And he says, you know, the same grandma that you called a drunk and got her parental rights taken away. Yeah, that's probably not going to work either. Davis says that they're better off just using gas. And, of course, Tariq says, I'm not putting her through that. He ain't with it. He ain't trying to do that. Sax agrees it probably wouldn't be good to put the 9-year-old on the stand. Davis says, well, they'll make sure that she can pass a competency hearing. So it's going to be all right. We definitely using the little girl. Tariq tries to double down on his no. And Davis is like, listen, what's better for her? You in jail or you out of jail? Just let me know. Okay. Davis says that, you know, I know that that's not the only reason why you're here. And so Tariq tells him that it's his ex-girlfriend. The cops dragged her in for questioning after finding drugs in her room. And he's wondering if it's just a coincidence or not. And, of course, they ask, what's her name? And he says her name is Lauren. What's Lauren's last name? Lauren something. I can't remember. Sax's wheels get turning. He's like, what's she look like? And so Tariq pull out his phone and show a picture. He's like, oh. And, of course, Davis Method Man is like, what does that matter? And he's like, it don't matter. You should stay away from her, okay? You should stay away from her. And they let Tariq go on by his business. Afterwards, of course, you know, we got to figure out what's that about. And he tells Davis that he saw Lauren at Sneaky Link's office last night. And she's definitely the prosecution's witness for sure. So they got to mess with that. Okay, Drew, he's at Everett's room. They having the sex. And Drew is asking, you know, where the weed at. And Everett's like, I don't do that no more. I ain't fooling around with course correct. It's too hot right now anyway, especially since they running around here and found that dead cop's badge in Tariq's room. Then NYPD knocks at the door looking for Everett. He opened the door. It's Detective Kevin Overzealous. And he got more questions about the night he and Zeke were jumped. Everett tells him that he ain't got nothing to say about that. And Detective Kevin Overzealous, you know, tries to push him more. And Everett is just like, I ain't got no more to say. You know, so he stands his ground. Good night. When Drew comes back out, he tells him that, you know, he's gone, but he will be back. Zeke, he on the court per usual. And Mecadante walks up, you know, asking if he's in the mood for a little one-on-one. Zeke is kind of like, who's this man? You know, he's, you know, admiring his little shot and all of that, his stance and all of that. He's like, oh, yeah, one of your feet half a size bigger than the other one, right? And Zeke is like, yeah. How you know? Well, I'm Dante Spears and I'm your daddy. And Zeke is just looking like, whatever, like, get out of here. He don't believe him, you know, of course. Mecadante shows him this tattoo and is like, your name, Ezekiel, and shows him a tattoo where he has a scripture from Ezekiel on his arm. And he's like, your mama knows about it. She was with me when I got it when I was 16. Go ask your mama about it. And Zeke, of course, gets out of there, goes on by his business. Anyway, Monet, I don't know why he would tell him go ask your mama, because he doesn't know Monet to be his mother. He knows Monet to be his aunt. And so I guess if he had gotten a chance to go and talk to his mother, she probably would have just, had to tell him the truth. But anyway, Monet, she's still mad. She's still mad per usual, She in there, she just roll up on Diana starting shit. She put her phone down looking for her keys, and Diana sees that D is texting her. And it says, we need to talk about him, Nay. And so, her wheels are turning like, who is that? Diana, she's still upset about having to go to St. John, but Monet says she ain't about to let her go up there and fool around at Stansfield with Tariq. So that's just that. She told her to stay away from Tariq, and she didn't. So that's just the consequences. Now you got to go to St. John. Carrie, she lurking on Clubhouse listening to her students, and they just dragging her. They talking about Jabari's book, but they are dragging her in her hoish ways. Before Keisha is about to like go in, on some details, I guess, another student chimes in and says that they know she's sleeping with Zeke Cross, all of that. So the rumors are circulating about Professor Milgram and, her hoish ways. Carrie gets interrupted by Tate. He didn't get an invitation to Jabari's memorial, so he wondering what's up with that. And she's like, because we sent them out to like his friends, the people who actually cared about him and who actually know him. Like, why would you get an invitation? As they're talking, Dean Wong drops by, and he thinks that Carrie should, sit this one out. Might not be a good idea to have you up there in front of the donors after, all of this speculation is going on. Tate pops back in on his politician, on some, we should be standing by Professor Milgram. Like, a fellow staff member is being attacked. Her character is being defamed. We should stand with her, not kick her to the side, not kick her while she's down. So, he's just politicking. And of course, Dean Wong has to think about that. That's very anti-woman, very sexist, all of that. And so he says, okay, well, I'll see you tomorrow. And when he leaves, of course, she's just like, what do you want? And he says, I think you're going to need a +1 down to the thing. So that's what he wants. Everybody get what they want. Zeke, he's packing his bags. He finna head out to go see his mama. Monet drops by. Like, where were you? You missed your meeting with the agent. Zeke says that he has to go. He got to go see his mom before the game, of course. And Zeke tells her that he's going to see his mom because this man, this man came up, this Rick Fox looking nigga, came up on me telling me that he was my father. So I got to go see about that. Monet just, long story short, she swindles him into believing that the guy was just some super fan trying to, ride his coattails to the money. And that's all it was, a scammer. Zeke, if he had sense, he would know better, but he ain't got no sense. Anyway, Monet goes straight to Mecca. Like, I told you not to say nothing. Why would you do that? Why would you go behind my back? And he's like, you forced my hand. Like, I want time with my son. I want to know him. I wanted to be in his life from day one. Remember that? And she says that she really didn't have a choice. She remembers that choice being taken from her. She was 16. People was making decisions for her too. Then he talks about the past and, the path that he went down. He needed his son. He needed his son. He wouldn't even gone down that road. And he also needed her too. Monet, she's still being a hard ass, of course. And she tells him Zeke doesn't need him and I don't need you either. Don't fuck this up. Don't break up the scene. Please don't. Tariq, he meets with Tamika and tells her that Davis wants him to get Yaz to testify, and he can't let her do that. She's like, oh, you can't let her lie for you. Okay, I get it. She ain't the type. So just tell her what it is. Tell her what the deal is. She asked if he did it, and He says that he didn't kill the cop. Okay, so Jabari. And he just puts his head down, of course. She sits down with this envelope and starts showing him all these crime scene pics, of ghost victims and all of that. And then his as well. And she says that I can't let you turn out like your daddy. Like, I'm not going to sit by or help you turn into your father. And she's also not David. So if she gonna help him, she gonna need to know the whole truth. So he tells her about Jabari and that, he was forced to. And he doesn't say by who, but Tamika says that, she can get him a deal if he names names. And he says that she says that he'll get like 5 years max. You can do your time, and when you get out, you'll be in your 20s, still young enough, young and spry to get your life together. Tariq says, that's 5 years that his sister has to spend in the system. He ain't trying to do that. He's not trying to make that decision for her. Kane, he set the meeting up with Lorenzo and Mercadante. So Lorenzo brings Drew to the meeting as well. Lorenzo wants to take over Queens, so that means he needs more product. And once he gets the manpower, like they'll really have it covered. Mercadante just offers up all his product. From now on, all of his product will go to Lorenzo and his crew. At dinner, the dinner for Jabari, Carrie, she running up on Lauren, harassing her about Tariq. She's trying to warn her, and Lauren just like, listen, the only threat to me is you. Please leave me alone, lady. Keisha, walks up and interrupts, and because Dean Wong is looking for them. They got to get this thing started. Braden and his family are also at the dinner. And Trace, of course, is up to his regular microaggressions. You know how he is. He in there mispronouncing Jabari's name. We didn't even know this Jabari. Please. Something should have been happened to Trace. But anyway, Mama Weston, they just all a mess. That whole family is a mess. But anyway, Tate walks up. And he tells Mr. Weston that there's a very compromising picture that's about to surface of Sweeney, and it may blow back on him. And that if he doesn't make sure that Sweeney steps down, it's going to be bad for him. And of course, Weston say he don't take blackmail lightly. And Tate is like, oh, just blackface. Okay. And he goes, he leaves him with that. Keisha, she gets the ceremony started or whatever. And Lauren, she has to introduce Carrie. And she's shady as hell in doing so. Carrie gets up there to the podium, and it's like everybody's talking about her. Everybody is... Everybody is whispering their whispers about her, and she just can't take it and just storms out. When she gets to her office, she in there crying. Tate, runs in there after her. He tells her, your story's not over, when it comes to this type of stuff, he is used to this. He's used to this kind of stuff. It will blow over. Things will be okay. You can rewrite the narrative, all of that. Lauren, she drops by Tariq's room to apologize. And he kind of giving her the cold shoulder. He opened the door and, just like crack it. And then Diana walk up out of nowhere, and he kind of just lets her in. So she just got to see this other girl going in Tariq's room. It's just all bad. Poor Lauren. Well, not poor Lauren, because, girl, go ahead on. Diana, she gets in there and she starts talking about course correct. Tariq knows that it's a front, the small talk. So he's like, what are you really here for? And she really just want to vent about the family, so she just dives right on in. She tells them what's been going on with everybody since Lorenzo got home. It's really torn them apart, all these secrets. Nobody's on the same page. She tells him that, she's going to school, but it's going to be at St. John's. She really wanted to be up there at Stansfield with him. She's scooting in close and all of that, all of that. Of course, they're going to end up having sex. So she lost her virginity. And, he had to make sure. We had to put the consent in there. Listen, are you sure? Is this what you want to do? She said, yes, this is what I want to do. I'm sure. And leans on in. And there we have it. She's deflowered. Girl, you should have gone and kept it. You should have gone and kept it, child. Let me tell you, if you are a virgin and you feel like you need to take the next step, don't. Okay? Don't even save yourself the heartache. Save yourself, sis. Don't do it to you. Don't do it to yourself. Okay, Drew. He watching TV when Kane walks in, and just changes the channel. He's such an a-hole. He picking a fight with Drew. Drew tells him, he ain't smart enough to do this. You just a guard dog with a new owner and all of that. And he asked how Ramirez's badge ended up in Tariq's room. And if I found out, what you think Tariq's lawyers are doing, they probably running back to the DA as they speak. And so Kane flips, did your snitch ass boyfriend tell you that Everett isn't a snitch? They going back and forth, and then they get in a little tussle. And Lorenzo has to come in there and break them up. He's disappointed in them both, And Kane tells Lorenzo that Drew's boyfriend is a snitch. And of course, Lorenzo was like, is that true? You got to take care of that. Take care of that tonight, okay? Because you can't have no loose ends. I done told you that. Okay, it's time for Yaz's competency hearing. Davis questions her first. She says that Tariq was there with her. He came downstairs, so she felt like he had slept over. The alibi is checking out until Sneaky Link start asking her questions. And then she proves that Tariq didn't sleep there that night. His whereabouts during the time of the murder, are still not clear. Tariq interrupts. And he's just like, you know what? She's done testifying. We ain't finna do this. Just let her go. Monet, she meets with Kane at the bar. They're in the bind. Mecca done cut their supply. So, it's all going to Poppy. Their little plan with Tariq is pretty much over now. And they have to pay Davis that $5,000, so they do have to get this money. Tamika, she runs up on Sachs and at a coffee shop, and she says that she can't let Tariq go to prison, for a murder he didn't commit. And Sachs feels like maybe, this time anybody just finally, caught up to him. He got bodies out there. It's just not that one. But it's caught up to him anyway. And Tamika knows that Tariq can be better. She's like, he's not his father. And as his counsel, it's your job to protect him. So do that. Drew pulls up on Everett. He's watching from his car. He reaches in his glove box to get his gun, gets it all ready. He's following Everett, and, he's about to pull his gun out and shoot him. But he gets a text from Everett that says, what you doing? I miss you. So he just can't do it. He can't kill his man. He just turns around and he texts him back that he misses him too, and he's on his way to see him. Okay, Zeke and Diana, they talk, and he tells her that Monet, has given him direct orders to stay at the house. He also tells her about Dante, and that Dante ran up on him, a man. Like I said, this Rick Fox nigga walked up on him saying that he was his father. But Monet told him, it was just probably like a scammer. So he's staying over there to stay safe. Davis, he gets in the car with Kane. He gets in the car and Kane is waiting on him. My bad. He got him at gunpoint. And he wants to know, he tells him that Tariq is the only one going down for these murders, so don't even think about trying to find out who was on the tape. It was Tariq, as far as y'all are concerned. Davis, tells him that he knows that he's the one that planted the badge, his name and everything. Davis ain't gonna say nothing. He ain't gonna snitch, as long as the money is flowing, he's not going to say anything. Davis to get himself out of this, he pretty much just tells him, you ain't got to worry about me saying nothing. I ain't gonna never mention your name. Listen, who are you? I don't know. I ain't Pamela James. Ain't seen Jack. He ain't don't worry, you ain't got to worry about me. When Kane gets out the car, Davis tells him, tell your mother I said hello, Kane. And he just speeds off. Lorenzo, he got roses all over the room, you know, Louis Vuitton boxes everywhere, slow singing in the background. He done set the mood. And he asked Monet if she's still working with Tariq. She says no. She shut it down like he asked her to. Lorenzo's new crew, they run up on the competition and kill everybody like they were told. One of them texts Lorenzo, you know, once the job is done. And Monet also gets a text from Dante that he want to talk. Tariq, he gets a knock at the door, and it's Tamika. And, oh, excuse me, it's Tamika, Sachs, and Sneaky Link. There's a deal on the table. 5 years. He has to give up the name of Ramirez's killer. Yaz will go back to the foster care system while he is doing his little time. And Big Mama is going to go do rehab. And once she completes the program, she'll be able to get Yaz back. So it's only if he signs, though. Of course, Tariq says no. Snitching is not the deal. Like, it's not going to make him any better than his father. He ain't finna play them games. Neither him or his family will be safe if he snitches. He is not risking that. Sneaky Link, of course, gets upset, rips up the deal. Bye, girl. Davis Method Man pops up on Sachs at the bar. He confronts him about going behind his back offering deals or whatever. 5 years ain't even a deal. 5 years in at that? No, that's not a deal. Tariq didn't take the deal anyway. So they need to find out what Lauren is going to say on the witness stand. Who was her counsel? You know, what was going on? So when they look and see who was there while she was being questioned, they both can't believe their eyes. Carrie Milgram. So Kane, he meets up with Tariq to tell him, you know, that there's no more product. And Tariq is like, I got to pay my lawyer. What you mean ain't no more product? My trial start tomorrow. You know, Kane he ain't worried about that. Kane, listen, you better find a way to get the money. You better find a way for both of our sake. Davis, Method Man, he confronts Carrie for her bullshit, you know, for, you know, swindling that girl into wearing a wire and getting involving herself in all of this. They have a back and forth like old lovers do, you know, talking about their body count and all of that. And he just tells her, I'm going to drag Lauren on the witness stand. So it's best you get her off the list. Okay. And that's where we end episode 7. Let me get to episode 8. Be sure to rate, comment, and subscribe to the channel. It's Call Me Busby. I'll chat with you later. Peace and light.